Hey everybody, I'm out here in my garden this evening. Just wanted to give an update on the square foot garden. It's now July and I've gotten most of the spring crops up and out of there and into the compost bin. But I want to give an update on some of the things that I've been trying. So one of the first things I want to give an update on is these potatoes. What I was doing is as they grew up, and there's a part of one coming through right there, I would just fill these beds back in with more compost. Not even a mixture of any other thing. This is just pure compost. I've been told that this method, inside a little raised bed like this, you can grow a lot of potatoes. The part that's worrying me is every time I get a little bit of green poking out, earwigs or some of these roly-polies come along and eat it up. So I'm going to try to do something today to protect it a little bit from that. I went over to my compost bin and I hurried and just grabbed stuff that I just recently threw in there. That's some peas. And then this is just a lot of leaves. There's some coffee grounds mixed in there. But it's mainly leaves because it was stuff that was right on top and I haven't really mixed in the compost bin really good. And I'm just going to take this and actually mulch in over the top of everything like this. My hope is by doing this, it will make it harder for the earwigs and other bugs to come along and find the things that are popping up through, particularly the little, I kind of guess they're saplings. I don't know what they're called when they just, well, I guess saplings are more trees, but just the green growth coming off of the potatoes, and so they might actually have a chance of growing up nice and green. Earwigs can do a number really quickly on small plants. They decimated the carrots that we had put in my son's little grow bed, so they're not growing so well. That's a coffee filter. I might just tear that into smaller pieces. When I get my coffee from the store, I don't separate the filter from everything else. Usually the filters break down really quickly. It's just more carbon to add back into the compost bin, really. The other thing that I was told is that coffee grounds tend to deter bugs from their smell. So I'm hoping this will push them away and keep them away. This is my son's garden. It's actually, I need to start trellising his tomato plant. It is huge compared to the others. It's growing really, really well. I've been picking the suckers off, and I think I have one right there. When I pick the suckers off, I just take my fingernail and basically clip it with the fingernail. I found the best way to do it is to actually go up underneath. Like if I was, hey, that's actually a sucker. There was a branch that broke there and the sucker grew through. So how I would do this, to give you a side view, is take my thumb and go from the underside. I found that's a lot less damaging to the plant. Often if I went from the top, I'd end up pulling some of the skin back right there. Most of the plants can recover from that, but the reason why I pull those suckers off is it just helps the plant grow one main vine, like you see right here. This is the main vine. And not sprawl out everywhere. But I really need to get the trellises set up over here because this thing's gonna start going mad crazy in a little bit. But we planted carrots down here for him, and just as the green tops were coming up, the earwigs and roly-polies would just come along and eat them right off to the ground again. They did the same thing with the beans, but luckily the beans are a little bit faster growing, so there's still somewhat of something there, but they're pretty tethered. And then you can see what they've done to his broccoli plant. But they tend to keep his flowers, which these are the flowers that he wanted in here, pretty good. Well, not eating them. And then his sunflower is growing taller than him now. It's super exciting. Over here we planted this rosemary. We bought a whole bunch of it because we read that it actually deters a lot of bugs, and so we tried interplanting that in here. I don't know if it's my wife that keeps unburying this plant. I need to talk to her about it, but I'm actually intentionally trying to bury this this sweet potato. I read that if you bury them, you can get them to root again, and you can actually get more potatoes out of them. This is our first time ever trying to grow sweet potatoes, and we thought we were going to lose this plant when we first transplanted it because it didn't go so well. It's also meant for warmer environments, and we had some colder snaps. Once again, earwigs. You can tell it's earwigs because they'll eat in the center, whereas like other bugs will eat from the outside. Earwigs will just basically just start eating anywhere. Now this one I think is actually chickens getting their heads through and chomping, because you see there, but this is definitely earwigs back here. We've been killing them left and right. We dump their bodies when we can gather them up in large groups right into our chicken coop, just to try to get something back from what they're taking from us. We have some more beans that have been attacked, some more down there. These are bush style bean. One interesting thing is the earwigs haven't seemed to mess with the celery that much, which has made us very, very happy. And not too much on the tomatoes as well. We have this rosemary here to kind of help protect, and then some more over into here. Now, last time I videoed, you saw my peas were just laying right on top of my onions, and it made me pretty upset because now it's pushed the tops off. I don't know how much longer these onions are going to grow. Some of them look like they'll be fine, but this is the best bulbing I've had since I've tried growing onions in a square foot garden, so I'm very happy with it. I need to come back in and fill these with something. The thing that I'm worried about is the earwigs just chomping them down. I can't seem to keep on top of them like I have in years past. I'm going to set out a few earwig traps. I have some videos on them, so please go look them up and see what I do for them. But I'm going to set some of them out to try to capture them, and then I feed them to my chickens just to try to get something back from them. Some more herbs right down here, and then we got these jalapenos, which doesn't seem like the earwigs have really messed with them too much. Maybe they don't like the spicier plants. And we have these tomatoes back here. But to do the trellising, I just have these conduit. These are made out of conduits. These are little 45s right here from Conduit. I got to get a new one for the one that's broken over there. But what I'll do is I'll just put some netting in between these, and I'll stand them up and I'll start weaving the tomato plants through it. I need to get one right there and one right there. For my sons, I might just see if I can put a tomato cage over it. I'm not the biggest fan of the tomato cages, but it's just one plant. It's gonna be perfectly fine in there. Then my wife has been really happy with the raspberry bush. I am too. She's already picked some raspberries off of it this year. Last year we didn't get anything, but I think it's because we cut it too short. I'm kind of at the point where I want to take the raspberry bush and actually split it out. I think that would actually give us a stronger yield because it'll allow more of the canes to touch the top. But that's this part of the garden. I'll take you over to where I'm growing the corn and other stuff, give you an update on that. But overall, the square foot gardens are doing what I expect the square foot garden to do. We have more than enough kale. I'm kind of like to the point where maybe we come and cut off all that's good. But it's been nice to leave something for the earwigs, I guess. It keeps them away from the other plants. I don't think my broccoli is going to do too well this year. We didn't get it in that early, and it's kind of a cooler weather plant, so I'm expecting with this heat it's just going to shoot up. I might be able to get another crop in before the fall and do a fall broccoli and cabbage, but overall now it's kind of like the point, maybe we can deter it from the bugs eating the tomatoes by leaving it out here. They seem to like that better anyway. My wife is super excited about the corn. To me, I think it's growing a little slow right here. But as I mentioned in other videos, I kept the space open and it's coming up. Over here, the issue that we're having with eating, it's grasshoppers, which we haven't had a problem with grasshoppers till this year. I think it's best because it's drier. There's not as much vegetation anywhere else, so hey, they're finding it here. These onions got stepped on when they changed out our electrical meter, and they have not popped up back. So that's kind of got me upset. These ones bolted on me. I don't think they were getting enough water with the drip system. But these ones down here, these are Walla Wallas. They look like they're doing pretty good. But you're watering them more by hand just to make sure that the ground stays damp enough, as well as with the drip system. But overall, very happy with how the corn is turning out. It still has a few more weeks. I'm hoping with the clouds that we have in the sky, we can get some rain off of this roof to help water these in nice and thick. The potatoes are here. They're starting to die back. I think they're not getting enough water as well. I'm not too concerned. I don't think this next year I'm going to do potatoes in here. I think I'm actually going to do the whole thing in corn. I'll lay down some heavy compost this fall, 2 to 3 inches from my bends. Try to get out all the potatoes so I don't have any runners, or not runners, but volunteers, and just plant the whole thing with this wheat style corn. I'll actually grab a cob and show what it looks like. I said wheat style, but what I meant is a mill style. This is a corn that you mill. My dad gave me a few of these cobs. I was hoping to plant some out of my in-laws as well as here, but I didn't get around to getting them in my in-laws. Next year I hope to do that. It's just a matter of they have a huge space, and there's a lot of stuff that needs to go in, and tomatoes are the priority out there. And they're so far from where I live that it's an hour there and back. And then you throw the gas prices that we're seeing on top of that, and it's just something I can't get out there to do chores enough. But that's it. I would like to grow enough of this to have a substantial amount for my family, but then also have some to feed to the chickens. So hopefully it grows pretty good and we have plenty to go around. So thank you again for coming and watching my videos. I hope you're learning. For those who do watch them regularly, I hope you're learning something or just find it enjoyable to see what I'm doing. I'm actually half tempted to ask my sister-in-law if I could go and record a video out at her garden. I absolutely love what she's done. It's like my dream garden. From everything that I've learned and everything that I've tried, it's everything that I want to do. So I see it and I'm like, as somebody said, green with envy. I'm really thinking I will just say, hey, this is a really great idea. There's a couple of things that I would have done a little bit differently, but this is their first year trying, and to be quite honest, I'm impressed. I'm so impressed that a little bit of me is like, you know, when you see somebody doing something better than you, and you're like, hey, you're just trying. It's like, but I'm very happy for her because I think she's having a great time doing it. And that's really what's important, is getting out and doing this and having a good time doing it and learning along the way. And her having these successes is going to help her when she has the failures. I mean, I've had plenty of failures of trying the new gardens, and I've had plenty of successes. And all the successes just make me want to go and try more and more and more. So I am so happy that her garden is doing so phenomenal, even if inside I'm like a little bit jealous that mine's not doing as great here. And I definitely don't have the variety of plants like she has. I'm way jealous on that. I don't know how well my pumpkins are doing out of my in-laws because I don't get to see them all the time. I say my pumpkins, but really, I mean, it's their land, so it's more theirs. But one of my goals would be to grow enough pumpkins that I could feed my chickens with them, and to become more self-sustaining. Anyway, thank you, and see you next time.